the truth about your 30s. Let's talk about this, gentlemen. What is life like in your 30s? So I sit here in my storage with my DeLorean. I don't know if you guys caught my other videos. I'm renovating my home right now and building a YouTube studio in part of my home finally. Something I never thought I'd do, but working on that as well. So I have my DeLorean here in this storage because I don't want it to get scratched or dented by guys coming in and out of my house with drywall and sheetrock and wood and lumber and all that. So yeah, protecting my baby here. And it's nice to be shooting in this car because we've been shooting in the Lamborghini a lot lately. So it's nice to be in here, just because of cash and all that. So it's nice to do this coaching video here. But regardless, let's bang into this. Talking about turning 30 and what is life like in your 30s as a man. And for you guys who are in your 30s now, you're going to love this because I'm going to share a lot of golden nuggets with you guys that'll help you. And you guys who are beyond your 30s, stick around because you'll relate, right? And you'll be able to help some other guys out who are going through their 30s now. But the thing I love about being in your 30s is you can finally, there's so much. I mean, where do I even start? First of all, you feel more mature. You are more mature, which is something that you didn't have in your 20s, right? And I just did a video about being in your 20s. Because back in your, when you're in your 20s and you're just entering your 20s, you're really still kind of a teenager in your head, right? You still kind of act like a teenager. You're still kind of goofy like a teenager. Still kind of insecure like a teenager. You still have the money of a teenager, getting allowance from your parents probably. Whereas once you're in your 30s, you're pretty much your own man, right? And you've made it to your 30s. Maybe you lost some people already along the way in your 20s, some friends of yours, or maybe some dudes who just checked out of life, maybe got in trouble or knocked up some chick. And they're struggling with that while you're entering your 30s scot-free, right? But your 30s are great because, like I was saying, you feel more mature. You know who you are. You know yourself better. You're still working on yourself, but you know yourself better. And you have more financial stability, right? You can finally pay off your credit cards. You don't need to make the minimum payment. You can finally get better jobs in your 30s. People are more willing to hire you for more money with better companies because you're this older guy, right? You're more trustworthy than some 20-year-old who's still in college. And you're in your 30s, your bank account, you will notice that your bank account will grow faster than it has at any other time in your life, right? And you'll feel more in control of yourself. I mean, basically all the things that these 30-year-old women bang on about, right? I'm single. I know who I am. I know what I want. Yeah, that's great, but it works great for men, but not so much for women, right? Not so much for women. But being in your 30s is awesome. Just for those points alone. I remember being 30, and I remember turning 30, and even 30. Yeah, you're gonna feel it. It always feels like a pinch when you hit the next decade, right? Like when you turn 20, right? The first time you turn 20, you realize, oh my God, I'm not a teenager anymore. I mean, what do you mean I'm not 19? I'm 20 now. You feel old. But then you turn 30, you're like, oh my God, I'm 30. I'm 30. I'm middle-aged. It's really not a big deal. But anytime you hit a new decade, you're always going to feel that pang of elderness, right? Like, oh my God, I'm older. It's in your head, man. It's in your head, right? It's all in your head. I'm telling you, it's all in your head. So, yeah, if you just turn 30, you're gonna think about it for a second, but then eventually you'll get over it, right? By the time you're 31, 32, you're off and running. You're like, ooh, I got my whole 30s ahead of me. I want to take advantage of this. I want to go out there, make things happen. And like I said, this is going to be the best time to do it. If you're out there in the job market, whatever, take advantage of it if you're in your early 30s, because you're at your prime here. You're at your peak, right? You're like an NFL first round NFL draft pick, right? Because people people don't really, businesses, companies don't really trust kids just that fresh out of college in their 20s. They can't be trusted yet, right, to run things. But if you're in your 30s, you're a grown man. You can be trusted, right? You can be trusted with this higher salary. You can be trusted being a manager. You can be trusted telling other people what to do, right? Which means you're going to make more money. And also, you're going to have access to more women in your 30s. I mean, it's a really great time because you can date down and you can date up very easily, right? If you're like a 30, 35-year-old man, you can easily date a 25-year-old woman, easily date a 35-year-old woman, easily date a 45-year-old woman, right? Not that you would want to do that. But you really have your pick of the litter. So it's a really great place to be. And the best part about your 30s, I would say, is you still look fairly young. Right? You may not believe this, but take this from me, a 53-year-old guy. You still look really young. I look back at my photos in my 30s. I mean, that was just really the late 2000s. I'm like, man, I still have kind of a baby face. I don't have gray hair yet. I don't have wrinkles. Wow, I'm still young. And here I was thinking I was old. Right? No. So your 30s are great, man. Just from every aspect. I mean, like I was just saying, dating, you could date up or down, whatever you're into, with ease, right? With ease. I mean, I've seen many of these girls who are like 18, like they'll put in their profile, like, I'll date a guy, easily up to 35 or older, right? That's you. So you're in a fantastic position. Also, you could get better credit cards. You could get higher limits on your credit cards. It will be easier for you to, get loans, get a mortgage, rent a house, rent an apartment, basically anything financial. It will be a whole lot easier for you, right? Because not only will you be earning more money, you'll finally have a credit score. Hopefully you did the right things in your 20s, you didn't file bankruptcy or anything like that. But even if you did, now as you're in your 30s, you can start building back from that. When I entered my early 30s, I was coming off my dumb financial moves of my 20s. My credit score was down at like 472 or something, or like 500. It was in the pits because I had all these credit card companies after me. And by the time my 30s came around, I started to pick myself up off the ground. I started working for a Fortune 100 company where I started making my first job where I earned six figures. Never had that. I mean, that was like mind-blowing to me because I was like, remembering as a child, I'm like, I didn't even think that was possible, somebody to earn 100,000 a year. I was like, wow, that's a gigantic load of money. And here I was doing that in my 30s. And I was able to buy a Mercedes, like top-down Mercedes like that. I was broke 6 months earlier. Here I was in this Mercedes. And I was able to start working on my credit, right? Start paying those cards off and start fixing my credit. That by the time I was in my late 30s, I got my credit score from like 400 or 500 to like 700s, right? Now I'm 800. Now I'm like gold bar credit, right? Now I could get credit for anything I want. I don't even need it anymore. I pay cash for everything. I got the Dave Ramsey thought process. However, in my 20s, I was credit carding everything, right? And that's another thing. Like, I've had this discussion with kids, with younger generations about Bitcoin and all that. I tell them, like, it just, like, oh, why didn't you load up on Bitcoin? You have money, Em. I'm like, yeah, not at my stage in life. It depends what stage you're in. Right now, I've built up a nice nest egg. I can retire now. I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. I'm okay with that. I don't need to, gamble this in order to try to get another like $5 or $10 million bucks. It's not going to really change my life much. So yeah, it really depends what stage you're in. However, if I was in my 20s, I would gamble it, right? I would go for it, right? So again, just depends where you are in life. Because I was broke, I didn't have anything to lose, and I still had my 30s to repair my credit. And that's pretty much what I did in my 20s. Is I credit carded everything because I was starting all these businesses, trying to get rich, and I put myself in severe debt to where it killed me. But in my 30s, I got a real job. I started working hard, paid off those cards, and like I said, left my 30s. Before I turned 40, I already had like a 770 credit score. Right now, I've got like think it's like 814, 820, somewhere around there. Because I don't really have debt. But back then, but your 30s will be a time where you can fix the mistakes you made in your 20s, especially financial mistakes, right? Your 30s are the time to do that, because now, like I said, you're this older guy where you could get better jobs you couldn't get in your 20s because nobody would trust you to run anything. So your 30s are the time to do that. Also, your 30s, you'll be able to buy nicer cars, right? You'll be able to buy nicer clothes. You might be able to move into a nicer neighborhood. You'll be able to eat in nicer restaurants. You'll be able to feel more respected. Why? Because you're making more money. Your status level has gone up, right? Your social status has gone up. And it's not even just the money, it's the maturity, right? It's you are more mature at this point than you've ever been at any other point in your life. Right? You understand you're no longer a teenager. Those days are behind you. The days of goofballing in your 20s are behind you. The days of living each day like it's a rap video, it's all about bitches and money, that's all behind you. Even though you're still making money, even though you're still dating, you just have a more mature outlook on things. Okay? Oh, you're not as easily triggered anymore. You're more in control of your emotions. Your 30s are really a great time. I really enjoyed my 30s way more than I did my 20s. And I was partying my ass off in my 20s. I partied like there was no tomorrow in my 20s. I went to clubs. I mean, back in these days, we'd get these hand stamps. I mean, we still get hand stamps, right? Coming home like with hand stamps, and then, waking up groggy, coming home at like 4 or 5 a.m. and then, trying to get up like 2 hours later to go to work. I used to sell shoes at Macy's. I was like downtown in Union Square. I was like groggy and getting up and going to work and selling shoes. I still had the club stamp on my hand, but that was my 20s. I mean, it was just one big blur of working and getting in trouble and dating, right? I mean, it's a lot of things I'm not proud of I did in my 20s either, but by the time I was in my 30s, I fixed a lot of that. I fixed most of it, if not all of it. And I felt like I was a good citizen, man. I was a good person. I was a good man. I felt like I didn't have to hide anything from my, parents anymore, right? I'm like, hey, I'm doing good in life. And they started to see me as an adult finally, as like somebody who was taking charge, right? And that's the time where your parents will see you as an adult, right? Is when you're in your 30s. When you're in your 20s, even if you're doing well, your parents will still look at you like you're a kid, like you're some goofy kid. It's just the way it is. But by the time you're in your 30s, it will be a different story. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed my 30s way, way, way more than my 20s. Also in my 30s, I got more control of, like I said, who I am, as you will, and you won't be goofing up your relationships like you did in your 20s. You won't be like, doing dumb things like getting jealous over your girl or trying to control her or getting possessive or anything like that. I see a lot of 20-year-old dudes do, and I've been there. You'll get over that, right? You realize that life is bigger than that. Like, you have bigger fish to fry, that you have better things going on, So yeah, I loved my 30s, really enjoyed my 30s to the fullest, man. And yeah, really, really enjoyed my 30s. So if you're going through your 30s now, drop your comment below. Let me know what struggles you're encountering in your 30s, or what successes you're having in your 30s. You guys who've already been through your 30s, let me know, how was it for you? Did you enjoy your 30s? Did you struggle in your 30s? Did you finally find success in your 30s? Did you finally feel like a man, like I was talking about? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next coaching video. So I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets, signing out from my garage with my DeLorean over here in the background. Beautiful car. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Go ahead and smash it right now. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it. Why? So that you get notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. Okay, so hit the notification bell as well. Otherwise, you will not be notified when I upload brand new coaching videos fresh to my channel. So make sure you're notified as well. And also, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel.
Helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm, so make sure you subscribe as well. Okay, because it helps not just the channel out, but it helps out other men. Because the more people who subscribe to the channel, the more men we reach, right? And